Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Monday, November 14th, 2016.
Commissioner Rivas, James, Davis, and Jacinto are present. President James, we have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Tim Tyson, Bureau of Street Services.
Okay. You're up. Jim Lantry, Engineering.
Good morning, Chris Smith, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Tim Dafera, Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, Lori Rittenberg, City Attorney.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment, no commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section, and no speaker cards under any of the items for today's agenda.
Okay, then we'll close general public comment as well as our Neighborhood Council category of commentary. Our first item of business, the approval of the meeting minutes from the meeting of Monday, October 24th, 2016. Is there a second to my motion that we approve those meeting minutes by Commissioners Davis and Rivas? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 1 in Council District 4, above ground facility variance, 4217 West 5th Street, recommending that the board first approve the request for a variance from the height limitation requirements of the above ground facilities ordinance pursuant to the Los Angeles Municipal Code 62.08.VB, and secondly, authorize Mobility LLC to install a 41-foot, 11-inch high wood monopole on the public right-of-way adjacent to 4217 West 5th Street. Mr. Ledoux on number 1.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Ledoux. I work with Bureau of Engineering Central District. This is for a mobility monopole that's roughly 42 feet high. It is in a residential district, which is CD4. CD4 is basically staying neutral at this point in time. This one is adjacent to a very large apartment complex. It covers basically the whole block on that side of the street, and there are 2 large apartment complexes on the other side. I did not hear from any of the apartment complexes or from any other entities as far as neighborhood councils or council office on this particular application.
So no neighborhood councils responded to the letter that they received?
None, no.
Okay. Any questions on agenda item number 1 on this? I don't have any questions. Commissioner Sintos made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 1, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith. I see Mr. Ledoux here on number 2 as well. This one's in Council District 13, an above-ground facility variance for 3216 West Bellevue Avenue. First, approve the request for a variance from the height limitation requirements of the above-ground facilities ordinance pursuant to LA Municipal Code Section 6208VB, and authorize Mobility LLC to install a 41-foot, 11-inch high wood monopole in the public right-of-way adjacent to 3216 West Bellevue Avenue. Mr. Ledoux on number 2.
Once again, we have roughly a 42-foot monopole by Mobility. It's in CD 13 Mitchell Farrell. They are remaining neutral at this point in time on this. It's in a residential zone, mostly large apartment complexes. I have not heard from any of those notified, nor the council office or the neighborhood council on this application.
Commissioner Jacinto on number 2.
Thank you, President James. Jeff, thank you for your report to you here on 3. This is the second of 3. I've seen in the past recently from Mobility that there is a statement that they make regarding the infeasibility of co-location, and I don't see that on their application, on their letter from Shannon Nichols this time. Shannon, could we ask to see if they could make a statement regarding the co-location or infeasibility of that?
I'm just going to look at the exact. Is that in regards to the street lights?
Yes, co-location and anything. I've seen it in the past, Shannon, in some of your other letters, applications, or letters, and I didn't see it, the sort of statement about co-location.
On this one?
Yes.
I think that's because this was submitted before that request
Okay.
was asked of us, so we probably didn't include it.
Do you want
as
to make a statement
result.
about co-location here?
I do know we do try our best to co-locate when possible. It's an easier process for us.
Is it cheaper for you as well?
It's cheaper for us as well. Yes,
Would it be
very
fair
much
to
so.
would it be fair to say that you said very much so?
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say that the standard process you would have done for co-location on the ones where you put it in the report would have been done on this one as well?
Can you say that again, please?
Yes. You had indicated that there was a standard method for co-location review that your company went through.
Correct.
And my question is, and you had indicated that this one was an application that was submitted before you started adding that to your reports. So I'm wondering if it's fair to say that the standard co-location review would have been done on this one as well, even though it didn't make it into the report because they weren't being added to the reports yet.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We always try to, and I can't give you a direct answer if this particular poll was rejected by streetlights or not. I would have to look into that.
Do you want to? How long would it take you to look into it? Like a day?
A little bit more than a day, but I could.
Well, because
try
what
to-
I could do is we could pass this, not send it forthwith, and then if you let us know before the beginning of our next meeting,
Okay.
then we won't have to recall it, and it'll go in automatically, and you won't have to appear.
Okay.
So that's 2 days.
Okay. Well, let me see what I can do quickly.
Okay. Any other questions on agenda? Commissioner Rivas?
Hi. I had a question when I was reading through this. I was thinking perhaps it wasn't co-located because of the additional pole height. Does that have to
Well,
do?
it definitely has to do with the pole height, and I would need to look into our search ring to see the exact requirements that were requested.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anything further? So again, what I would do is make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 2. Is there a second? Okay, by Commissioners Davis and Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. We're not going to send it back forthwith, Ms. Nichols, so you'll communicate with Commissioner Jacinto's office.
Okay.
And then if there's no motion for reconsideration next Wednesday by Commissioner Jacinto, then this will be at the end of the next meeting, which will be the end of Wednesday's meeting. Then it will be final.
Okay.
And if we don't have an answer for you or there's additional information we need, we can recall it at that time.
Great. Thank you.
Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto and Commissioner Rivas. On agenda item number 3, Council District 15, above-ground facility variance, 1500 East Lameda Boulevard. First, approve the request for a variance from the height limitation requirements of the above-ground facilities ordinance pursuant to Los Angeles Municipal Code Section 62.08 VB. And second, authorize Mobility LLC to install a 54-foot, 11-inch high wood monopole in the public right-of-way adjacent to 1500 East Lameda Boulevard on the Sanderson side of the lot. Mr. Ledoux on number 3.
Once again, we have a mobility pole, this one roughly 55 foot in height. It is in CD 15 Joe Buscaino. They are remaining neutral. This is adjacent to a manufacturing zone. In fact, if you look at the board report, you'll see it's adjacent to a huge sort of industrial parking lot right there. We did not hear pro or con from any of those that were notified about this installation, and I did not hear anything from the neighborhood council.
Any questions on agenda item number 3, Commissioner Jacinto?
Yeah, President James, I see that this is the date on this is September, and Ms. Nichols' letter has that statement about the infeasibility of co-location. So this goes back to her point about at a certain point we asked them to include that. This is included in this language, so I'm fine with this.
Okay, so you're fine with this one? Okay, anything further on agenda item number 3? I don't have anything on agenda item number 3. Commissioner Sindos made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3. I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Any issues, sending it forthwith. We'll send number 3 forthwith. Thank you, Mr. Ledoux. Agenda item number 4 in Council District 4, requested tree removal, 3716 Multi-View Drive, recommending that the board first certify that the board has reviewed and considered the information in the letter of determination and find the information contained therein appropriately addresses the requested tree removals. Secondly, find that the project is categorically exempt under Article 3, Section 1, Class 3, Category 1 of the city's Environmental Quality Act guidelines, and there is no substantial evidence the proposed project will have a significant effect on the environment and is in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. Number 3, find that none of the exceptions to the use of the categorical exemption as set forth in Section 15300.2 of the state CEQA guidelines apply. Number 4, specify that the Bureau of Street Services, Urban Forestry Division, located at 1149 South Broadway, is custodian of the documents of other material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. And 5th, approve the request for a fee tree removal permit for 8 coast live oak trees and 1 Southern California black walnut tree due to the construction of a single-family residence. The trees are within the proposed footprint of the new single-family residence. Tree replacements are required. Mr. Tyson on number 4.
Good morning, President James, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, City Attorney, and Executive Officer. The Bureau received a request from Mr. Leslie Barodi, applicant, contacted the Bureau regarding the project located at 3716 Multi-View Drive. The developer is constructing a 3-story single-family residence on a parcel measuring 15,233 square feet, and the proposed new residence has a footprint of approximately 4,327 square feet. The development site is located within the Mulholland Drive Scenic Parkway specific plan and on a lot with moderate to steep topography. The site is undeveloped and the property is surrounded on 2 sides by single-family residences. The Bureau of Street Services informed the applicant to obtain the services of a Los Angeles Municipal Code-defined tree expert to evaluate the project's impacts to the site's native protected trees. The consulting arborist, Mr. McKinley, wrote the protected tree report, which contains 16 native protected trees comprised of 15 coast live oak trees and 1 Southern California black walnut tree. 9 of the protected trees are located within and directly adjacent to the footprint of the proposed home. The 9 protected trees will be severely impacted by the project's construction and grading requirements. The affected protected trees are 8 coast live oaks, trees numbers 2, 6, 9, 10, and 15, and 1 tree number 1, Southern California black walnut, measuring approximately 5 to 16 inches in diameter by 15 to 35 feet in height. Most trees are in fair to poor condition. The Bureau of Street Services reviewed the report and agrees with Mr. McKinley's assessment. The Bureau inspected the location on September 2nd, 2016, and found the trees on the property are as stated in the protected tree report. Council District 4, as well as CFAC, was informed of the tree removal request on September 6th.
Can you say CFAC, the Community Forest Advisory Council?
I'm sorry, President James.
No, that's
yes,
okay. Just for the oral record, people
absolutely.
don't always know acronyms. But go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'd like to read this in totality into the record, as this is the mitigation measures or replacement measures.
Okay.
And it talks about how the removal of the trees need to take place, as well as the notification to Urban Forestry Division when these are all taking place. The applicant shall plant 32 24-inch box-sized coast live oak, Quercus aglafolia trees and 4 5-gallon size Southern California black walnut trees on site to replace the removed trees. The survival of the tree replacements shall be guaranteed for a period of 3 years by bond. If the board approves the protected tree removal, the tree removal permit shall be issued by Bureau of Street Services upon notification of the Bureau of Engineering that the bond has been posted. Upon issuance of the protected tree removal permit, the Bureau shall be notified a minimum of 10 days prior to the day of the protected tree removals shall occur. The applicant's tree experts shall be on site the day of the tree removals to ensure the proper trees are removed. A Bureau arborist will arrange an on-site meeting with the applicant or their tree expert the following day to ensure the proper protected trees were removed. The applicant, in conjunction with the project's landscape architect or tree expert, shall be responsible to ensure the tree removal permit tree replacement conditions are in compliance. Replacement tree planting shall follow the landscape plan to the fullest extent possible. The Bureau shall be notified no later than 5 days after the completion of the tree replacements. A Bureau arborist will make arrangements to visit the site and approve the tree replacements as being in compliance with the permit conditions within 5 working days of the notification of planting completion. The Bureau of Street Services has reviewed the report and agrees with Mr. McKinley's assessment that the trees will need to be removed in order for the single-family development to continue and be developed. So we're asking the board to consider the removal of the 9 trees.
With the tree removal plan as explained.
Yes.
Yes. Any questions on agenda item number 4? Tim, I don't have any questions. I would just indicate that, again, this is another example of kind of the last 14 or 16 months of tree policy development that has come full circle with the added implications or the added inclusion as was needed for some time of the CEQA guidelines, along with the long time and long-standing mitigation measures and tree replacement policies when we're dealing with protected trees. And with the indication from CFAC as well as some of the legal entities that were watching from the outside, again, expressing their satisfaction with the development of this policy that's taken some time to get there. So, again, thank you to your team.
Thank you.
With that, I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 4. Seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith. Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Agenda item number 5 is requested acceptance of a contract, Bureau of Contract Administration and Bureau of Engineering in Council District 5, Angelo Drive, 1240 slope stabilization, completed by Clark Contracting Corporation. Mr. Smith, on closure of this contract on number 5.
Good morning. Chris Smith, Bureau of Contract Administration, General Services Division. This contract was awarded on June 13, 2016 and completed September 12, 2016. The project consisted of some chain link fence installed on an existing K-rail to retain hillside debris. There were no undisputed items or financial issues, and there were no specific outreach goals due to the emergency nature of this contract. The Bureau recommends acceptance.
Any questions on agenda item number 5? Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Chris, I see that there was 2 deductive change orders for $14,000, so we actually completed the scope of work less, 90% less than what was projected.
Correct.
Good one.
Great. Anything further? Is there a motion on number 5 by Commissioner Jacinto? I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5. Any issue sending number 5 forthwith? We will send number 5 forthwith. Agenda item number 6, requested acceptance of an on-call contract in Council District 4, Bureau of Contract Administration and Engineering, Grandview Drive bulkhead extension and Grandview Drive bulkhead completed by Mike Perlich and Sons, Incorporated. Mr. Smith on number 6.
Yes, this contract was awarded June 9, 2015, completed March 17, 2016, consisted of bulkhead construction at 2 locations on Grandview Drive in CD4. 4 change orders were issued decreasing the contract amount in this particular instance because the difference of the contract amount was decreased by more than 25%, so they had to renegotiate the unit costs. There are no unresolved financial or property issues, and there were no specific goals related to outreach requirements because this is an emergency contract. Bureau recommends acceptance.
Any questions on number 6 at all? I don't have any questions on number 6. Commissioner Davis has made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 6. Any issues sending number 6 forthwith? I'm sorry. Commissioner Cinto seconded. Commissioner Davis made the motion. Commissioner Cinto seconded. Any objection on number 6? We'll adopt agenda item number 6. Any issues sending it forthwith? We will send number 6 forthwith. Thank you. Agenda item number 7, also in Council District 4, requested acceptance of an on-call contract from the Bureaus of Contract Administration and Engineering. This is berm repair and replacement program of Phase 2, completed by John S. Meek Company. Final report, Mr. Smith, this morning on number 7.
Yes, this contract was awarded June 16, 2015, completed May 3, 2016, consisted of some pavement repairs and pipe and board retaining structure in San Miguel Street and adjacent hillside. There were some change orders issued increasing the contract amount because some additional AC paving had to be done to complete the project. There are no specific outreach requirements because this is, again, an emergency contract. There's no unresolved property or financial issues, and the Bureau recommends acceptance of this contract.
Questions for Mr. Smith on number 7? Okay. Is there a motion on number 7? By Commissioner Davis. I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 7. Any issue sending 7 forthwith? We'll send 7 forthwith. Agenda item number 8, our quarterly status update from the Office of Community Beautification. Mr. Roch. Sounds like your audience today is outside instead of inside.
I don't know if that's our audience. They're giving us a lot of work, though.
Well, we're missing our audience today.
Yeah, so
that's okay. We'll take the oral report anyway.
Okay. Paul Roch, Director of the Office of Community Beautification, just to provide some of the highlights and work that our office has been involved in, primarily, I guess, since the beginning of the current fiscal year, so starting July 1st. First, looking at the volunteer cleanup program. For the period of July through the end of September, OCB coordinated and assisted with 75 cleanup beautification events throughout the communities of the city. This involved the work of over 3,900 volunteers. These volunteers picked up 10,306 trash bags of debris, weeds, and trash from along the various communities of the city of LA. October and November, I don't have the final stats on those at this point, but they were extremely busy months for us. October traditionally is always probably our busiest month of the year. November usually isn't, but this particular November, I think, because the weather's been so nice and also because of the Clean Streets Challenge, has been extremely active with volunteers picking up doing community cleanups and beautification events. The first weekend in November, November 5th and 6th, OCB supported and worked with 36 events throughout the city on that one weekend, 31 on Saturday and 5 on Sunday. I think that's probably the most events we've ever supported in any one weekend. So it's been real busy. Some of the groups we've partnered with on these various cleanups include almost every city council office, the mayor's office, particularly through their Civic Youth and Leadership Academy, coordinated several events. Numerous neighborhood councils as they are working as part of the Clean Streets Challenge. Many elementary, middle, and high schools throughout the city of Los Angeles. We supported a Boy Scout troop out in the San Fernando Valley with one of their scouts working on his Eagle project. We've worked with many churches, several of the LAPD divisions, and various community organizations, homeowners associations, etc. So our warehouse staff and OCB coordinators have been managing to get all the supplies out, get them back, and then out to various places around the neighborhoods. As far as the graffiti abatement program, since the beginning of the current fiscal year, OCB contractors have abated over 10 million square feet of graffiti citywide from over 112,000 locations. 65% of the requests for service submitted through the MyLA 311 app or someone calling 311, 65% were completed within 24 hours or less. 74% of the requests within 48 hours or less, and 79% of the total requests were addressed and completed within 72 hours of when they were submitted. Over the past week, our contractors have been extremely busy. There's been a lot of anti-Trump graffiti, primarily downtown, but also throughout all the various communities. City Hall itself got tagged up several times pretty badly, and luckily for us, the Department of General Services has to absorb that particular cost, what's on City Hall, but there's been a lot of traffic control boxes, curbs, sidewalks, light poles, business walls that have been tagged up that our contractors have been focused on cleaning up as well. So we've had to divert some of our graffiti crews from some of the other parts of the city and bring them downtown just to try to stay on top of all the graffiti abatement around here. So hopefully that will calm down as far as the tagging and stuff going on with that. OCB contractors are also involved with the Clean Streets Los Angeles program, providing public right-of-way cleanup. Since July the 1st, OCB contractors have cleaned over 1,100 locations citywide, in which they picked up 35,000 trash bags worth of trash, litter, weeds, and debris. OCB contractors have also collected over 3,000 bulky items from along the public right-of-way, with a documented trash weight of 1,461,000 pounds. The Office of Community Beautification has also been involved with the Sidewalk Repair Incentive Program. The Bureau of Engineering and the MyLA 311 databases have been refined to support this program. OCB staff, along with other public works and board staff, have been meeting numerous times throughout the last couple months, getting the program put in place. All the required documents and processes have been created, and at this point we're just awaiting final council approval for the ordinance in order to move ahead and get the program started. At this point, it looks like that will occur probably sometime in December, late November, and I think we then have to wait 30 days. So we're looking at kicking off the sidewalk incentive program probably late December, early January. Just a couple other items. We're currently working with 3 different groups who have submitted Adopt a Median projects to the city in various ways in which they want to plant and beautify some areas of public property. And from the period of July to September, OCB had 23 instances in which we were requested to provide information in vandalism court cases and restitution hearings. Those requests came from either LAPD or the city attorney's office. And with that being said, that concludes my report, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Rutch. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I just wanted to once again compliment the great work that is being done in OCB, and you certainly are a great partner to the various bureaus here in the Public Works Department. And also, I specifically wanted to highlight my appreciation for the standard that you have established in removing graffiti. And I'm so proud to know that we're able to do it within 72 hours, because as those of us who are out in the community all the time, we know that the sooner we are able to remove that graffiti, the better it is in terms of setting an environment where people think it's okay to continue to do that. So that is just critically important, and I'm very happy that you've been able to establish that standard, and I think that's very good.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Cinto.
Thank you, President James. Paul, great report, kicking off this fiscal year. OCB is an aggregator. It leverages, it's a connector, it's a facilitator, and really for the mayor's Back to Basics agenda and getting entire constituency of Los Angeles involved with basic services and infrastructure. It's such a great report, so thank you. Please thank the staff. Look forward to coming out and seeing the contractors and the great work that they're doing, and future looking at the incentive program is going to be really big. People are lining up. We know that's going to be a big moment. So look forward to your work. So thank you, Paul, for this great report.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Snow. Commissioner Rivas.
Also, thank you for this great report. Like my fellow commissioners mentioned, I attended one of the cleanups, the Sunland Tahunga cleanup. It was sponsored by some community groups there, and they felt very well supported, and it was just great to see the turnout and the enthusiasm. And they also were promoting the 311 app, and that's kind of what they did for their cleanup, where they did a scavenger hunt and using the app. And so I had a question. Do you when people do cleanups, do you also try to promote them to submit any issues to 311?
Yeah, we definitely promote 311, both at cleanups, and we also attend numerous community meetings and events and things like that, with information booths or giving presentations. We do promote 311 as a way of people letting the city know where there are problems that need to be addressed. Like anything, sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for, because we get too many requests and we end up chasing requests and then not being able to do the proactive work. So, we can actually get a lot more graffiti abated if the crews are just driving up and down the major corridors and not necessarily having to chase requests around. So there's a fine line, but we do absolutely encourage people to use MyLA 311.
Okay, thank you.
And if I can add to that, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, Commissioner Rivas, excellent question regarding the Clean Streets competition. It's something that Commissioner Repenning and I, and also with Office of Community Beautification and the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, has been working on for several months now. This was monies that were leveraged from the Innovation Committee. We also matched some funds here with the Board of Public Works, working with the Office of Community Beautification. One nice thing about that Clean Streets Challenge is that individuals had to come out and go through a safe cleanup session. So we actually went out to the communities. We had close to a dozen workshops across the entire city on how to do safe cleanup events and how to call 311 and where to send individuals for a 311 or even cleanup services. So marketing is just one of those things that we saw in a lot of applications. We received more than 50 applications. The good news is that we were able to find a way to award some sort of dollar amount that's going to go behind these Clean Street Challenge competitions, awards being anywhere from $500 as high as a couple $1,000. So depending on how and what the events were going to be included in the application, we were able to determine some sort of dollar value behind that. So we're basically giving back to the community and paying for the services. But I think most importantly, I think what we get back in return, having the people go out there and help clean up their communities and also raise awareness with 311 and how to keep LA clean is basically the greatest value. And we're doing this for tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. It's really relatively inexpensive for us to do that, and it's a great way of connecting the community and just showing pride in our democracy and how we work together.
Anything further? Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rivas, Mr. Campos. So, Mr. Roch, a bit of to add on to what Mr. Campos said. One of the things that I've seen more of around the communities, really all over the place in a good way, are flyers and informational material. Part of it as a result of some of the training that Mr. Campos indicated that our Board of Public Works staff did around the city with various neighborhood council groups, neighborhood councils themselves, neighborhood council coalitions. And that's made a big difference. The Clean Streets Challenge is something that we're going to want to be able to emulate just the return on investment that Mr. Campos described briefly. When you look at the potential thousands of volunteers, additional volunteers, some of them, if you talk to, including some of the ones that Commissioner Rivas referenced, many of them, it might be their first time at community involvement and community engagement. And what we're doing is we're training people to start a long time in public service. Many of them volunteer, many of them go on to run for neighborhood council or serve the city in other ways. So the return on investment is, you can't even measure it at this point. It's certainly 10 or 20-fold what we're, easily more than that, what we're spending on the Clean Streets Challenge. But the ability of your staff to quickly adjust and respond to new programs and to new challenges, whether it's the sidewalk incentive program, whether it is the Clean Streets Challenge, whether it is something that has happened that results in our need for abrupt graffiti abatement. It continues to just set an example. I hear about it regularly from council offices. I hear about it regularly from the mayor's office. And so once again, I will ask you, as I ask you at the end of every one of your excellent quarterly reports, would you please send me that data in an email
Yes,
so that I can deal with it appropriately in social media and such, because the amount of work is significant and it's stellar, and it's just getting better and better. So we appreciate, and we're getting more innovative. I get, as Mr. Campos points out, we're getting help from the innovation team, and that's what they're here for. But it's great to be able to adjust so quickly to new technology and the new benefits that they provide.
Right. And I think, like you mentioned, the long-term benefits, I mean, of these organizations coming out and different groups working together, they really do get to know each other. And these could be people that, are from the same neighborhood but have just never worked on a project together before. And being able to come out and spend a couple hours cleaning up their neighborhoods and then having lunch together, in a lot of cases, springs off into other community projects and events and things like that. So.
Well, and two things I would mention, just larger scale, in the sense that in some instances, and I've seen it in my own neighborhood, people are there who haven't met before, just because of the physical makeup of the neighborhood. But the other thing that's impressive about it, and you see from the Clean Streets Challenge, is the amount of youth that's involved. And it's great to have all ages, obviously, and any age is not too late to help clean your community. But the folks that start young, your return on investment, statistics say is going to last even longer.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, I know that Keep America Beautiful, which is a nationwide anti-litter beautification program, did a survey and estimate, and they made a determination that for every $1 invested in picking up trash and organizing events and cleaning up the community, brings back $27 in community benefits. So it's
I said more than 20. Just
it's almost 30.
My guess wasn't even that far off based on the statistics. Thank you, Mr. Roch. Mr. Campos.
Yes, Mr. President, just wanted to also give a quick shout out to Jen Maroney and Colin Sweeney from our office for coordinating those workshops, because they were literally going out to the communities across the entire city, and so it took a lot of effort and a lot of their weekends as well. So shout out to them as well. And just for the record also, the board does plan to propose a new 2.0 outgoing grant program, if you will, so taking the Clean Streets Challenge model and just taking it up a notch and doing a 2.0 version for next budget season. So it is subject to the mayor, and it's also subject to the city council to approve that, but we want to start off small, and the idea is to bring that program back so that we can start investing in our communities again as well. Paul, also, since I have you, wanted to say thank you for all your hard work that you've done, increasing our numbers and our response rate for graffiti abatement, and also working with the Bureau of Engineering and all other city departments to implement the sidewalk repair program. Numerous is not enough to say how many meetings we actually have had, because sometimes we will have 3-4 meetings in one day, or it's the entire day of sidewalk conversations, 8 hours, just to get this program off and running. So thank you, and also Jason Valencia from your office for going through all those meetings, getting everything done, testing the system, making sure that it's going to work, so that when we do release that incentive program, that we're ready to go from day one.
And some of these, these are, it sounds simple. A sidewalk repair incentive program. It's not at all. These are very complicated programs when you have many interests many requirements that have to be met, many regulations that have to be satisfied, and also meeting the policy of the council and the mayor. So, again, we appreciate all the hours. And just to close with an amplification of something that Mr. Campos referenced, much of the work that was done, including Commissioner Rivas, I think when you were out at the Sunland cleanup, and what Mr. Roch referenced, that's done on weekends, and many of the trainings and the stuff that Jen and Colin did were all in the evenings after hours. So we certainly appreciate all the extra effort. Thank you. Anything further from Mr. Roch? The oral report will be received. Thank you, sir. Mr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then yes, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.